Students, welcome back, and in last videos we discussed about thallophytes and bryophytes, and in thallophytes there is no body differentiation, and in bryophytes there is some body differentiation but there is no vascular tissues, right? And today we are going to discuss about another category of plant, that is pteridophytes, where we can see well body differentiation, that is body differentiation excess here. They have proper roots, stem and leaves, and they also have specialized vascular tissues. What do you mean by vascular tissues? Yes, the xylem and phloem, and xylem which helps in the transport or the conduct of water, and phloem which helps in the conduct of food. And where does the food prepare? Yes, the leaves, right? And the process is known as photosynthesis, right? So today we are going to discuss about pteridophytes, and they include the common examples are like horsetail and ferns. I think you all might be familiar with this fern, right? So where they are found? So their habitat, they are mostly found in cool, damp, shady places, and sometimes they can be found in sandy soil also, and they are the first terrestrial plants to possess vascular tissues, that is conducting tissues, xylem and phloem. And in bryophytes, we already discussed the dominant phase is the gametophyte. That is the longer period the plant exists in the gametophyte. So that is why the dominant phase there it is gametophyte. But here in pteridophytes, the dominant phase or the main plant body is sporophyte. That is sporophyte, and it is differentiated into true root, stem and leaves. These organs have well differentiated vascular tissues also, that is xylem and phloem, for conducting water and food. And the leaves in pteridophytes are small as well as larger in size. You can see here it is small. So that is known as microphylls. Okay. So the leaves in pteridophytes which are small, they are known as microphylls. So the example is Selaginella. And sometimes large also. Yes, as you can see here in the case of ferns, they are known as macrophylls. Micro and macro. And what is the economic importance? So they are used as medicinal purposes, and they are used as soil blinders, and they are also grown as ornamental plant, as they are very beautiful that is why they are being used as ornamental ferns also. Here you can see the different types of ferns. And the sporophytes, as we discussed, the dominant phase is the sporophyte, right? That is what the fern what we are seeing, right? This is the sporophyte which bears spore. Okay. So here you can see a leaf-like appendages over here. This is known as sporophylls. Okay, so sporophytes wears a leaf-like appendages which is known as sporophylls. So a magnified picture of this we can see here over here. Okay, and the sporophyll consists of, here you can see again magnified and shown, sporangium. That means in which spores are present. Okay, so just keep in your mind sporophyte, which consists, that means next step is sporophylls are present, then inside that sporangiums are present, and inside which spores are there. Okay, so sporophyte, then leaf-like appendages called sporophylls, where sporangiums are present, and inside sporangium spores are present. And in some cases the sporophylls, that is the leaf-like appendages, right? So the sporophylls will form a distinct compact structure. The sporophylls will form a compact structure. You can see here, this is a compact structure over here, and here also you can see, yeah, a compact hard structure, and that is known as strobili. Okay, so some examples are Selaginella and Equisetum. So in these type of plants, the sporophylls will form a distinct compact structure, which is known as strobili or cones, as it is the cone shaped. Okay, so what is strobili? Please keep in your mind. Then the sporangia produces, we know sporophytes consists of sporophylls, which consist of sporangia, and in the sporangia spores are present, right? So sporangia produce spores by meiosis in spore mother cells, and the spores germinate, right? And they germinate into, so this is the plant, sporangiums are present, which the spores are released, and spore will germinate into a green color, that is photosynthetic thalloid or thalloid, that is the gametophyte called prothallus. So here you can see, okay, the sporangia will release out the spores, and spores will form which will give rise to photosynthetic thalloid gametophyte, which is known as prothallus. This is the fern prothallus. Okay, next we will discuss what happens to this. Okay, so this is the prothallus, which requires a cool, dammy, shady places to grow. Yes, and it needs water for fertilization also. So this gametophyte, that is the prothallus, this bear both male and female sex organ in them. So what is the sex organ? The antheridia and the archegonia in them. Okay, so both male and female sex organs are present in the case in this thalloid, and after that fertilization will happens. So we know that water is needed for the transfer of antherozoid, that is the male gametes from antheridia to the archegonia for fertilization to take place. Yes. So once they fuse, it will form zygote, and zygote will develop into a well differentiated sporophyte. So we'll see here. Yes. So this is the sporophyte, right? And which will release spores. That means here sporophylls are present, sporangiums are present, and from the sporangia spores are released, right? And these spores, as we just discussed in the previous slide, the spores starts growing. That means they will develop a prothallus first. Okay, that means a photosynthetic thalloid known as prothallus gametophyte. Okay. And in that it will be consisting of both male and female sex organ. That means sperm as well as egg will be there, which will fuse with each other, and they will form a zygote, and that zygote will be developing again into a sporophyte. Again it continues. So this is the life cycle. And based on the size of spores, what they release. Okay, they release spores, we know from the sporangium, right? So based on the size of the spores, it has been divided to two type of plants, like homosporous plant and heterosporous plant. So what is this homosporous plant? So the pteridophytes produce similar kinds of spores, same kinds of spores. If they are releasing out, they are known as homosporous. Okay, and other which produce two kinds of spores, that means mega and microspore. So that is known as heterosporous. Okay, so same kind, it is known as homosporous. Two different kinds, that means mega and macro, bigger size and micro, it's present, it is known as heterosporous. An example it's here given. Then megaspore generally will give rise to female gametophyte, and microspore which will give rise to male gametophyte. And here you can see the full detailed picture of how the life cycle of these pteridophytes. Let's see. Okay, so this is the fern. Okay, then which consists of here the sporophylls, which will be consisting of again the magnified picture of this you can see here, which consists of sporangia, and inside the sporangia what will be there? Spores will be there. Yes, so by meiosis it is, you can see here, this is the sporangia, dehiscing sporangium with spores. Dehiscing means dehiscence means breaking off. Okay, so sporangia, spores will be released out. So spores is released out, and they will start growing, and rhizoid will start coming out, and you can see the thalloid, photosynthetic thalloid. Okay, prothallus starts developing, in which both archegonium and arthridium, male and female sex organ will present. That means sperm and egg will be there, which will fuse and which will form the zygote. After fertilization, as a result, zygote is formed, and zygote will develop into embryo. And here you can see it's growing, developing, and this is the base part, that is the gametophyte will be there, on which our sporophyte starts developing. Here you can see. Okay, So sporophyte starts developing and it matures. This is the life cycle of pteridophytes. Okay, that means the plant sporophyte is there, which bears sporangium, and spores will be released, and spores will be germinating, and rhizoid will come out. It will start forming a gametophyte, which is known as prothallus, which will be consisting of male and female part in them, and they will undergo fertilization, that is fusion of male and female gametes, and which results in the formation of zygote. Zygote will develop into embryo, and embryo starts developing, and from it the sporophytes start coming out, and this region is the gametophyte, right? So here you can see sporophyte starts, leaves of young sporophyte here start developing. Yes, this is the gametophyte here, and it grows. Okay, I hope it is clear. And next is the classes of pteridophytes. And the classes of pteridophytes, no need to study in detail, but we need to just know the classes. What are the classes of pteridophytes? Okay, so you can see here it is Coelopsida, and the example here you can see Celoptum. Then Lycopsida, the examples are like Selaginella and Lycopodium, and Sphenopsida, Equisetum, and Pteridopsida, Diopetris, Adiantum, and Pteris. So these are the classes of pteridophytes. Okay, so these are all about pteridophytes. I hope it's clear to you. Next we need to discuss about gymnosperms. Okay, thank you.